Hey, welcome back to this podcast, the Teach Me Tom Show. And today I want to talk about the 3 steps to learn any programming language. And that's really the way to learn a new programming language or your first programming language is to be aware of that. You need to structure your learning path into 3 easy steps and you need to follow them in order. Otherwise, you're just frustrated and confused and it's way harder than it's necessary. And the first step to learn any new programming language is to learn how to manage data. And we talked about this in this podcast, but let me reiterate it. The main purpose of a computer program is to manage data, to get data into your program, to process that data somehow, and to get data out of the program again. And we also talked about a way to store that data into variables. Variables, the little compartments in a computer's memory. So the first step to learn any programming language is really to learn how to manage data using variables. There's programming languages where you need to declare a variable. You need to define to the computer, hey, computer, I want to use this variable, and I give it a name so I'm able to, find it again. We use speaking variable names like user age or telephone number or I don't know, amount or total sum or quantity or something like that. And these variable names, they tell us what kind of data will be stored there. What's the meaning? What's the context of that data that we store in that variable? For example, if you name a variable first name, then you expect it to, contain a user's first name. And you expect it to be able to take alphanumerical characters, meaning numbers and letters. And you need to be able to store that. So in some programming languages, you can just use any variable name and you don't have to declare it. In other programming languages, you need to declare a variable first. You need to tell the computer, okay, this is the variable first name, and it's going to be storing text, alphanumerical letters and numbers, right? There's other data types, other variable types like whole numbers, integer numbers. Integer is also one of these primitive data types that you need to be aware of, that you need to know. Usually when you're learning a new programming language, there's a distinction between text variable data types and numerical data types. And even the numerical ones, they fall into different categories like whole numbers, integer numbers, like floating point numbers. You need to learn about that. That's your first step to learn a new programming language, is to learn how to get data into the variable, and whether you need to declare this variable first, whether you need to tell the computer, hey, listen, I'm going to need a variable called user age, and it's going to be an integer variable. And there's a way to define that to the computer in the computer program. And there's a way to get out the value that's currently stored in the variable username. Usually you just use the variable name, user age or first name or whatever it is. And that's how you access that data again that you store. So that's basically two kinds of the two sides of the coin, right? You need to write data into the variable, and you need to be able to read data back from the variable. Write it into the compartment, like put a little post-it note, you could picture it, put it in the compartment, and then you take it out again. And that's the first step to learn any programming language, to learn how to manage data, to learn how to read data from variables, how to write data into variables, the different variable data types. There's also special kind of collection types, groups of similar data like lists and arrays. You need to learn that. That's your first step to learn any programming language.